Celebrating the connection with our pets. This is Animal Radio, featuring your dream team. Veterinarian Dr. Debbie White, dog trainer Alan Cable, groomer Joey Villani, communicator Joy Turner, and here are your hosts, Hal Abrams and Judy Francis.
Oh, you're going to want to stick around this hour. Just trust me on this one. A couple of great guests coming on. You may not have heard of them. They're big in the UK. They're going to be big as soon as they're on Animal Radio all over America. And they're blonde. And they hate men. I'll tell you that right now. I think I get them enough clues out.
They don't really hate men. They just like dogs better.
What do you mean? Their book says that they hate men. We're talking about Webb and Jo Good. And they wrote the book, Barking Blondes, How Two Bitches Taught Two Bitches to Survive Without Men. So, I mean, it's right there in the title.
Okay.
Also on the show today, rent a chicken. If you ever thought about having chickens in your backyard, now you can actually rent them, try it out for a little while. And
see if it works for you.
If the kids are still entertained by the chickens and not the Xbox after 6 months, you can keep the chickens or you can return them.
And you don't need a receipt either,
Don't, absolutely not. Hey, Sean, how are you doing?
Oh, not bad. How about yourself?
Doing okay. Alan's in the bathroom, so we're going to let him finish his business, and then we'll put him on the phone with you. I think he had Chinese last night. I'm just saying.
Oh, stop it.
I don't know.
So we're all just sitting around waiting for Alan to come out of the bathroom. Why does he go to the bathroom before the show?
Hey,
Alan.
Hey there. Yeah, baby. Yeah, what?
I have Sean on the phone right here. What's up, Sean?
Hey, how's it going? I had a question. I have a pit boxer mix, about 2.5 years old. Actually, I have 3 large dogs. But the boxer we adopted from a gentleman who used to be a truck driver. He passed, and the dog was handed through family and eventually came back to us. But now, I mean, she's a wonderful little dog. She's very obedient and everything. She just wants to just be loved, and she's the sweetest thing in the world, gets along with everything else. But when we leave the house, she starts counter surfing. And the reason why we know she's doing this is because when we come home, she won't greet us at the door, and she goes back into her kennel and punishes herself. It's pretty heartbreaking, and we've talked to our other trainer. We just don't know what else to do about it. She gets her walks, she gets exercise. All my dogs go on an 1.5-hour walk twice a day. We just don't know what to do about the counter surfing to get her to stop.
The only way you know she's counter surfing is because she goes in her kennel. Is there evidence?
Yeah, she really likes to get things off of the kitchen counter, or she will go up into the bedroom and take things off the dressers.
When you see her do these things, what do you do?
We clean up the evidence, and then we change what she's going to be doing. We take her out of the kennel, we get her out into the yard, and we immediately start with, like, training.
But have you caught? But wait a minute. Have you caught her in the act? What do you do when you catch her in the act?
We can't catch her in the act. She only does it when we're gone. She doesn't counter surf when we're home.
Okay, all right.
It's
all
like
right, now,
having separation anxiety kind of thing.
Okay, Sean, you said a couple of things. Yeah. You said a couple of key things. Okay, first of all, you have a crate, you have a kennel, so you're a teacher. You got to look at yourself as a teacher. You're very emotional. You're all emotional. She's a sweet dog. We love her. Now, if you really love your dog, you have to understand that your dog will always be 2 years old in his head. He'll always be 2. He'll never be any older than that. So when you have a 2-year-old human child, you know as well as I do that in order to teach your child right from wrong and what is good and what is not good, you have to actually be there. And when a dog does something wrong, it's a wonderful opportunity to correct a dog and teach a dog the right thing to do. That's why when dogs do bad things, people freak out. But it's actually a good thing when a dog does something bad because it's an opportunity for you, because you're there, to teach your dog, no, that's wrong, and here's what's right. That's the wonderful thing about being there. So the first thing is the key things that you mentioned are she has a kennel, she has a crate, but you don't put her in the crate when you leave the house. Therefore, it's your fault that your dog is counter surfing because you are enabling your dog to do the wrong thing by not preventing it in the first place. Because you can't correct her if you're not there. And if she has a crate and she's not put in it when you leave, then she's going to get into trouble. You're not going to be there to correct it. And so she's never learning that that's not what you want. So naturally, she's going to do it when you're not around because there's nobody to stop her from getting in trouble and teach her, hey, that's not what we want you to do. You can't do that. The second thing is that if you know she's counter surfing and you don't put her in the crate, you're leaving food on the counter, which is an irresistible lure and temptation for a dog that is already accustomed to going on the counter to please herself or himself. So the thing is, buddy, you've got to crate your dog, and then you have to let your dog out of the crate when you're home, and whenever the dog goes even near the counter, you make a correction. You herd her away. You make a sound like, hey, and you herd her away from the counter to teach her that the counter is off limits. And when she goes to the spot you want her to be in, that's when you give her praise and reward. And the only time you give your dog affection, another key thing you said is she doesn't greet us when we come home. It's nice to greet when you come home, but what you don't want is an excited, anxious, crazy, lunatic dog when you come home. So, with me, when I come home, my dog doesn't pay any attention to me. I don't pay any attention to my dog, except I look up maybe after a minute or so and give a wave. And it takes about 15, 20 minutes before I even speak to my dog or acknowledge my dog. I've taught my dog to be very calm when I leave and when I come home, because a calm dog and a tired dog is a happy dog, and an anxious dog is never happy. People think anxious dogs are real happy. Oh, he's so happy to see me. Look at him. He's going lunatic. That is not happiness. That is anxiety and excitement. So, my suggestion...
A couple of different things, though, is when she does greet us at the door when we come home. She'll come to the door and she sits and she waits for us, but she doesn't greet when she does the counter surfing. Now, as far as the kennel goes, if we put her in the kennel when we leave, she actually will... It's like she has, I don't know if it's like a panic attack or whatever, but she has actually fought with that kennel and ended up with, cut paws, cut ears.
Well, you see, again, buddy, Sean, you have to understand a couple of key things. When dogs act like that, it's always because of what the human beings have taught the dog to do without even knowing they've taught the dog to do that. So you, in essence, probably have taught your dog to, I don't want to say not like the kennel, but when your dog acts like that in the kennel, she's learned that you'll immediately let her out. That's what she's learned. So you have to get her accustomed to the kennel again, which again is teaching and is not very difficult. You just have to create positive associations with the crate while you're in the house and take baby steps. So with that, what you would do is you would start feeding her in the crate. You would start putting treats in the crate. You would leave the door open. Whenever you notice her going in the crate, you would say, good dog. And then over a period of time, you will close the door while you're home, while you're in sight, and you'll leave her in there for 10 minutes the first time, maybe 5 times 10 minutes over a week, and then into the second week you'll leave her in there a half hour, and then you'll start disappearing for short periods of time and coming back, and then when you see her calm in the crate, you go, good girl, and you give her a treat. And then you start going outside on Sunday and working around the house while she's in the crate. You leave her in there for an hour, you come back in, and then you give her a treat. So slowly but surely, over time, you get her accustomed to loving the crate, and you do it with positive reinforcement and reward and attention when she's calm in the crate. But it takes time. It's baby steps, and that's the only way to do it, my friend. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes perfect sense.
That's the key, buddy. It's all slow, easy, mellow teaching. Without words, though. It's all what you do. Try to notice what the triggers are for your dog. Your dog will watch you, and she'll know when you're leaving the house, not because she's really smart, but because every time you leave the house, you pick your keys up. Or every time you leave the house, you put your coat on. Or every time you leave the house, you turn the TV off.
When we put our shoes on, we can watch her elevate.
So let me ask you a quick question. You know that about your dog. You know that's a trigger. How can you eliminate that trigger? Let's put 2 and 2 together, you and me together.
Well, one of the things we have been doing is that we put our shoes around
wait, Sean, we're men here. Let's not tell stories. I asked you a question. Let's focus on the question. How can we eliminate the trigger of you putting your shoes on and your dog getting agitated and excited? How can we eliminate that trigger?
Leave my shoes on in the house?
Exactly. Put your shoes on when you're not going anywhere. Start putting your shoes on and don't go anywhere. And your dog is going to quickly realize that means nothing. There you go, buddy. You did it. Hey, Sean, you did that. You should be proud of you, Sean.
I just worry about the dog's anxiety because we don't know what she went through.
Sean, I am listening to you, but your worry is what's getting in the way, and it makes me think that you really don't want to fix the problem. When I deal with people every day, and when they start saying, well, I'm worried about this, it tells me that, yeah, they like to talk about the dog's behavior. They like to tell you about it, but they really don't want to change it. Deep down inside, they're okay with it. Now, are you one of those people? Or if you really want to change it, then you got to start being a teacher, and you got to stop worrying. I'll let you go, but just check yourself before you wreck yourself, Sean. Before you act, think.
No, I greatly appreciate the help, and now I know a few steps that I need to move forward with my fiance and the dog and myself.
Hey, thanks for your call, Sean. We appreciate it.
I didn't think he was ever going to stop there.
Well, see, that's the thing. I mean, people will tell you they don't want to answer the question. It's like, you got to put them on a witness stand. Well, we go for walks in the park, and they don't answer the question, and then they take you off on tangents.
Hal, I wasn't talking about the guy. I was talking about Alan.
Yeah, me too. I was thinking the exact same thing.
Come
I was
on,
just trying to be
the show. How long was the show? 2 hours?
We're almost done.
Why don't you guys interrupt me? I mean, look at. I mean, I'm trying to help the guy. How many times did I cut him off before he could tell us stories? I mean, I'm just trying to pin him down, trying to help him out. You guys are. Hey, can I have a treat? Am I being good?
Give him a treat, Judy. Will you give him a treat?
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now with the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
Hi, this is Paul Rogers.
And Cynthia Rogers.
On Animal Radio.
Just know that it's going to be all right, meow.
Well, don't forget you can get your fix of Animal Radio anytime you want with the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android. It's made possible by Fear-Free Happy Homes, helping your pets live their happiest, healthiest, fullest lives at home, at the vet, everywhere in between. Visit them now at fearfreehappyhomes.com.
How would you like to get a free smartphone? If you own a smartphone, listen to this incredible offer that's almost too good to be true. Right now, you can switch your plan and get service with us for as little as $2 a day. Guaranteed for life. Plus, get a free smartphone every year. Call the free smartphone hotline now and we'll move your number from your existing service. Think of your savings. So don't wait. Switch your plan, save money, plus get a free smartphone every year. Call the free smartphone hotline right now. We guarantee you're going to love our service. If you don't like what we say, you can hang up on us. But you won't. Right now, you can switch your plan and get service with us for as little as $2 a day. Guaranteed for life. Call the free smartphone hotline right now. 800-475-3351. 800-475-3351. 800-475-3351. That's 800-475-3351.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Here's Hal and Judy.
Let's go to Carolyn. Is it Carolyn or Caroline?
Carolyn.
How are you doing today?
Well, I'm okay. I'll say that anyhow. I have a terrible cold, but that's all right.
Oh, what's going on there?
I don't know. Just something I get from time to time. I was calling because I have a dog and a cat. Actually, my daughter and son-in-laws, but we all live together. We have a terrible flea problem. Now, she used Frontline Plus. Are you familiar with that?
Oh, sure.
Well, that hasn't done anything for fleas. And I'd like to know if there's something that I could rub onto them to give them some relief. Like, I used Listerine on the dog one day, only to find out that that's toxic to animals. I don't know. Is that true?
Well, I mean, I've heard of that where people use this topically to kill fleas, and I can tell you there's so many better things than Listerine. And what concerns me is using something like that without really doing a full program for flea control. And if you pick any one flea product on the market, you may not get adequate flea control. So if that's all you're doing and we're not addressing other issues, then we're going to fail in attacking fleas, because fleas, the adults are only 5% of the life cycle, and that's what you're killing when you put a product on your pet. Now, granted, Frontline Plus does have something that helps to kill that next generation of fleas. But in many cases, we have to work on environmental control, and we also sometimes have to even add in some oral medications to help do a kind of a quick kill for a really uncomfortable pet. So there are some out there. There's one called Capstar, Comfortis, that help to kill those fleas very quickly and get our pets some relief. Now, if you're doing this all by yourself, sometimes that too can be difficult because a lot of pets with fleas have a component of allergic dermatitis, flea allergic dermatitis, and that can be miserable. If your pet is horribly itchy, scratching, losing hair, and has fleas, you may need some other help. So you may need to see your veterinarian for things like sometimes prednisone or a form of steroids to help kind of squash that itch while you can really get on board and attack the flea cycle and try to kill those suckers off.
And you don't think vinegar would give them some relief?
No.
I rub that on them. I mean, I know it's not going to kill the fleas, but...
Well, so what vinegar does, vinegar is acetic acid, so it's a very low pH, a very acidic solution, so it may repel and kind of make those fleas want to take off, but it doesn't kill them, and it's actually going to burn the bejesus out of a dog's skin that has abraded or red skin. It really can hurt. So rather than go that route, I would encourage you to go with a more calming, soothing approach. And in the veterinary office, we have a lot of great products that have colloidal oatmeal, which can be very soothing to raw, irritated skin. If I use that in conjunction with something like a steroid for a pet that has flea allergy dermatitis, a lot of times we can find them some quick relief. Now, if you don't have that kind of product immediately available, there's Aveeno, the human oatmeal bath soak. I've used that on occasion when folks can't get to the veterinary office, and you basically sponge it on just like you would with a kid with chicken pox, and it can help to give some relief. But if your baby is that uncomfortable and that scratching and unhappy, then I like to really see the vet to get something to help them out and get past that uncomfortable phase. And I might encourage you to kind of mix things up a little bit with some of the flea products. So, as I mentioned, there are some orals you can use, and sometimes even switching it up, because there's some thought that fleas can become resistant to some of the common pesticides that are out there. So try another product. Try Bayer's Advantix 2. That has some sustained relief as well against some of those other generations of fleas beyond those adults.
And you could use that with the Frontline Plus?
You would use that in place of that, and then you would follow that up also with, say, an oral medication like Comfortis or Capstar. And with that, you also have to look at where you calling from. What kind of state?
Pennsylvania, Eastern Pennsylvania.
Okay. So, we also have to look at the environment. So fleas live in the house. So we have to work on vacuuming and treating the indoor environment as well. So don't worry about just treating pet. We got to look at the whole environment.
Yeah, and that's the problem. That's what the vet suggested, having the house, I don't know if you call it fumigated or what, but we have so much around. And then, our dog goes out all the time, so it could bring them right back in again.
That's why this is a year-round battle, and you really have to try multiple methods. So I definitely would encourage you to get either the professional help with an exterminator or see your vet about getting one of those products that you can use for bombing inside the house to help kind of do a quick kill for what's in the environment. Because it's a battle, man, and even though things are getting cold and we're seeing some pretty chilly weather coming on, if you've got those fleas indoors, they're going to survive through the winter indoors. So this is the time to really kind of amp up your flea control.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, thank you very much.
All right, my pleasure. Thanks for the call and good luck. This is Dr. Debbie with Animal Radio.
God, I hate when you get those calls. I start itching immediately. I do. I'm like, do I have fleas? My head starts itching. My arms start itching. I start freaking out.
And you know what? I think the thing that really motivates me to help these callers is that a lot of people think that it's the way it is, that dogs itch with fleas, and it's not okay. There are things we can do. And unfortunately, a lot of folks want to try to battle this on their own. And there's so many good things that I can give people to help settle down that itch.
How do you know? How do you know your dog has fleas definitively? When you're checking them out, what do you see?
Well, a lot of times you'll see hair loss along the back, the rump. If you kind of push back the fur, you'll see what looks flea dirt, which looks like pepper along the skin, and that's their excrement. That's flea poo. So you'll see that, and sometimes you'll actually see the critters just scurrying about. So that's the most direct way.
Yeah, my dog's got he's got a bare patch on his tail.
Oh, yeah.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now with the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
Do you have an old car sitting around your house? Maybe you're even paying insurance on it. Well, if you don't need that car anymore, donate it, running or not, to the United Breast Cancer Foundation. They will even come and pick it up for free and give you a receipt for a tax donation. Breast cancer screening could save the life of someone you love. And right now, they need your help. They want to save more lives through early detection by offering women free or low-cost breast screening exams. And that's what your old car helps to pay for. So get your phone out and call right now to donate your car to the United Breast Cancer Foundation. Remember, they will come pick it up for free and give you a tax donation receipt. Call right now.
800-793-4880. 800-793-4880. 800-793-4880. That's 800-793-4880.
This is an Animal Radio News Update. I'm Stacy Cohen for Animal Radio. Well, you know I'm an animal lover. I've got 3 dogs, 2 horses. But this is a little crazy. I think this is far-fetched. A wildlife park in the UK has started banning animal print clothing because zookeepers noticed the fashion choice was starting to confuse the animals. According to the Mirror, the Chessington World of Adventures Resort introduced this zero-tolerance policy, and they've even brought in animal print bouncers to make sure that people don't get in if they're wearing anything patterned like a zebra pattern, giraffe, leopards, tigers, or any other wild animal. No fake fur allowed. Can you imagine what would happen? Officials say they discovered some of the animals were either trying to communicate with people, and that's when anybody had an animal print on, or they would run away from them in fear. They added the new rule is especially important now that they've introduced a ride that brings guests on and off road safari adventures. What happened to the sense of smell? Animals are usually attracted to smell. Well, maybe a few people don't take a shower. Who knows? Mr. Ed would have a lot to say on this matter. A horse called Scuppy bit a kid in the face, and a Connecticut court has concluded that horses are a naturally vicious species, and therefore Scuppy's owners should have restrained the horse, who had never bitten anybody before, to prevent the injury. Well, horse owners and equine enthusiasts are asking the state Supreme Court to overturn that decision. Classifying horses as vicious would make owning the animals uninsurable, and it would jeopardize the state's profitable horse industry. You know what? Horses are so far from vicious. They're scared of even a fly. I know my horse is scared of, like, cats. As soon as it sees this cat, she jumps sideways 500 feet. And it scares me. But I don't know, they're probably going to overturn that, I think. Some new regulations will allow New York animal lovers to spend eternity with their pets. The Daily News reports that officials have finalized some rules that will allow pet cemeteries to accept the cremated remains of humans. The cemeteries can now bury pet owners' ashes as long as they don't charge a fee for it and don't advertise human burial services. New York's Division of Cemeteries put a halt to human burials at pet cemeteries in 2011 after a story about the practice. It later relaxed the ban on a limited basis and began working on some permanent rules. A New Jersey man's out a couple $100 after pleading guilty to feeding a few cats. According to the Burlington County Times, Harry Heck was accused of leaving cat food on private properties belonging to local city officials to attract some of the feral cats that he and other Burlington residents called a public nuisance. Heck says he was trying to show the officials what the neighborhood is going through and urged them to do something about the cats. But a judge called Heck's actions disgraceful and despicable. Heck pleaded guilty to littering, and he was slapped with a $250 fine, as well as some court fees. I'm Stacy Cohen. Get more animal breaking news at animalradio.com. This has been an Animal Radio News Update. Get more at animalradio.com.
You're listening to Animal Radio. If you missed any part of today's show, visit us at animalradio.com or download the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
Download the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android and ask right from the application questions for Dr. Debbie, dog trainer Alan Cable, Dogfather Joey Villani, or animal communicator Joey Turner. Coming up next hour, A couple of blondes that are, well, that's the name of their book. You know, blondes used to be a derogatory term.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, watch it, buddy.
Really?
Well, that's what they're calling themselves.
That these guys are real smart.
They call themselves barking blondes.
They actually call themselves two bitches.
Yes, they do.
How two bitches taught two bitches to survive without men. And they'll be on in just a few minutes right here on Animal Radio from across the pond. Where are we calling? Is it London?
We're calling them in London, yes.
Okay, can't wait for that. That's
Hello.
All.
Hello.
I'm Sir Geoffrey Pippin Smythe.
Huh?
It's Sir Geoffrey Pippin Smythe with Tea Talk.
I was mentioning earlier that the chicken is the new dog. And I got a lot of controversy about that, but I see a lot of people around here, at least in this neighborhood, and we're in city, they're putting chicken farms or chickens in their backyard.
Uh-huh.
Mostly for the eggs.
Why else?
Oh. And so it seems
some people just love chickens. I have clients that have chickens. They enjoy them. The
pets,
variety. Huh? Yeah, they're actually very engaging social creatures. So
they're not noisy. Not too noisy? Are they too noisy?
It's the roosters.
It's the roosters.
Oh. I think the sound of a chicken is just really soothing.
I like that.
I'm a neighbor with a pig and a rooster.
So I always get upset when I'm not on the cutting edge of these ideas. Like, I wish I had thought of these ideas. Like Phil Thompkins and his wife, Jenn, rentthechicken.com is their website, and they rent chickens, and we have them on the show. Hi, guys. How you doing?
Hi there.
Hello.
So where are we calling you? Where do you live? Pennsylvania?
Yeah, we're just north of Pittsburgh, a small town called Freeport, Pennsylvania.
Okay, and you guys rent chicken? Is it? Do you rent the chickens by the hour? What is it for laying eggs? How does this whole thing work?
Sure. The way it works is you come to us and you say, "Hey, I'd like some chickens," and we provide a coop. We provide 2 hens that are already laying eggs, all the feed that you need during the rental period, as well as a water dish, a food dish. We drop it off there at your house. We give you an introduction to the chickens so that you know what to do and know what to expect. And after a 6-month period throughout the summer, you decide if you want to either keep the chickens or return them to us and then have them for the next summer as well.
Well, I got to ask, how's business going?
Well, you know, we just started with a soft opening this June, and everybody absolutely loved it.
Now, how far do you rent them out? Is it just in your area? Do you rent them out all over the state, the country?
That's an excellent question. We prefer to rent within 50 miles of Freeport, PA, which that includes the surrounding counties around us, including Pittsburgh.
So the people that are renting chickens, are they doing it for the eggs mostly?
Mainly for the eggs, and also for the experience, of course. They want to try to bring their farm, if you will, a little closer to their table, and they want to determine if it's something that they want to do, whether to continue renting or raise their own chickens in the future.
And I love that idea because, you know, I think a lot of times people get into an animal, whatever it be, a dog, cat, bird, and they don't know what they're getting, and they don't know what to really expect as far as their needs. So this gives them an out if it really isn't what they want.
If the renter decides to chicken out, you know, they don't have to be committed to having those chickens.
Yeah. Now, what kind of chickens? Aren't there many varieties of chickens? Do you get to pick a type of chicken, or do you only rent one type?
Well, we have several different types of chickens, and like you said, there are a lot of varieties. I mean, there's dozens and dozens. So we try to choose some of the more egg-producing chickens, like either the White Rocks or the Rhode Island Whites or Rhode Island Reds.
Well, I understand the eggs that come from a rented chicken have less cholesterol and less saturated fats.
That's exactly right. So they also have more omega-3 fatty acids in addition to having less cholesterol and less saturated fat.
Than the ones you'd find in the store.
That's really any backyard chicken. Any home-raised chicken, you get that from the various feeds that you use. And this next year, we're going to be going 100% organic.
Oh, that's good.
Wow.
Do you have to teach a chicken to lay eggs, or does it innately know that it needs to lay eggs?
Well, the hens know, but the roosters get a little confused. The hens will start laying after about 16 to 24 weeks from when they are hatched. So there's quite a time period from getting small pullets or teeth from the store or even delivered from many websites. There's a wait time before they actually start laying eggs.
But yes, they do know exactly where to put those eggs.
Yeah.
Because a chicken wants to to go find a spot that's safe for them when they lay an egg.
Sure. So I'm the dumb one on the show, and you'll find out why in just a second. I assume you have to rent a rooster with the chickens. Does that...
Actually, we just rent out 2 egg-laying hens. A rooster is only needed if whoever owns the chickens anticipates wanting to raise small chickens.
Okay, I guess I need
Hal,
to go back to biology
chickens,
classes. Yeah.
You want more
So, Hal,
chickens,
you
you
get
get a
it.
rooster.
No, I don't get it.
Okay, so women don't have to have a baby every month to have a period.
No,
Their
no,
egg
no.
goes through a maturation, and so
Okay.
that's the same thing that chickens are going through.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you so much. I'm sure I'm not the only one. I'm the only one.
So do you guys have any groups coming out of the woodwork that are against you already? I mean, people that are naysayers and trying to spoil all the fun, or everything's okay so far?
Everything's okay so far. People are really excited. I really haven't heard any negativity towards this. I think that the positive part is that it allows someone to know whether or not they want these chickens, because in some communities, people are actually dropping off chickens at the local animal shelter, and these animal shelters don't know what to do with them. So we provide a good way to keep that from happening.
Now, after your chickens are done laying eggs, they can't lay eggs anymore. What do you do then?
Well, a chicken can lay eggs, for 7 or 8 years. The fact is their production will go down. And, Jen and I still love to eat our eggs, so we will keep those chickens that are not producing as much here at the homestead until we have a chance to eat the eggs as well.
Also, we found that people become attached to our rent the chickens, and then they want to purchase the chickens outright. So they become part of their home and their pets as well.
Wow, okay, rentthechicken.com is the website. I understand you have a fall rental special is what it says right here. Can I gift this as a gift? Because I'd like to, Joey, I think would be, I'd like to
He'd
get
be
Joey
a great chicken
Christmas.
farmer.
Yeah.
Great chicken, yeah.
Yeah, you
Plus, the
bet.
chickens can use his head for a nest.
New ideas. In fact, we're hatching new ideas daily.
I like these guys. Phil and Jen, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
That's what America's about right there.
Do your dogs go nuts when they hear fireworks or during a bad thunderstorm? It's not their fault. They have sensitive ears. You love your dog, and so do we. That's why we developed a perfect solution for your loved pets by eliminating the harmful noise. It's called Doggy Hush, a unique waterproof set of headphones that go over your dog's ears. They're so comfortable, your dog won't even know they're wearing them. And when this happens, your dog will feel and stay safe and stress-free. Go to doggyhush.com. Enter the promo code we're about to give you for a free special gift. Again, buy Doggy Hush for your dog today and protect your dog's ears from fireworks, thunderstorms, and a lot more harmful noises. Go to doggyhush.com and enter this promo code, Radio4. Radio and the number 4. Go to doggyhush.com right now and enter the promo code Radio4. Again, that's promo code Radio4.
I have.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Here's Hal and Judy.
I like this song.
It is good, huh? You're quite the dancer. I didn't realize. Wow.
Oh, yeah, I can move.
I'm out of breath just watching you there. I can go right to him.
Okay, go right to him right now.
I'm going to him right now. Here I go. Do you want me to do it now?
I want to do it now.
Okay. I can wait.
Stop it. Okay, if you go there and he's lost, don't you look at me.
Let's head to Frank. Hey, Frank, how are you doing?
All right, how you doing today?
Thank you for waiting. We know you were on the phone for a little time waiting there. And we appreciate that. And that you didn't hang up, because it would be a real drag if I just came to you right now and it was like a dial tone.
Yeah, it would.
So, Frank, what's going on? Where are you calling from today?
Azusa, California.
Where in California?
Azusa.
Azusa, like in the Los Angeles area.
Yes, sir.
Well, thank you for listening down there in L.A. So what's going on with your animals?
Well, we have a pit bull. He's a blue-nosed Gotti, whatever you want to call him. And at the base of the tail, it looks kind of like mange, or it's, I don't know if you call it hot spots or whatever. But he starts chewing on it, and you can hear him when he's rubbing up against the doghouse and stuff. And we tried putting medicine on it, but it comes back. We've used we use peroxide when it's open sores, and then we used aloe vera and it kind of cleans it up a little bit, and then it comes back.
Okay. And on the skin in the area, what does it look like? Can you describe what it looks like to me? Is there hair? Are there sores?
Well, he starts chewing on it and scratching. The hair is like disappearing. Because pit bulls they're real short hair. Well, it starts looking like, like the hair's falling off. But I guess it's him chewing or scratching and stuff.
Okay.
And then,
I was just going to say, is the skin discolored in any way, or are there scabs on the area?
Yeah, a little bit of scabs, raw.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to tell you that for a dog to have an itchy spot at the tail base area, the two big things that come to mind are going to be parasites, and it's going to be allergies as the second thing. Those two things would be what I really focus my efforts on. So even if you're doing really good vigilant flea control, fleas are one of the number one things that we can see a dog focused on the tail base area. So for me, that's something I will attack with a lot of different methods. Now, there's also some microscopic parasites or mites, specifically the scabies mite, which can be very itchy and do like that particular area on the body. So there's some things that we can do, and certainly if you see your vet, they can do some skin tests and evaluate your pet for that. For me, if I have a pet that I'm suspicious of one or two of those things, I'll often, even if I don't get the benefit of tests, I'll try some things that might make the pet better and are geared towards treating those two conditions. And one would be that I would use a topical flea product along with an oral flea medication, and that's a way to kill those fleas effectively for the various different life cycles. The other thing I will do is mites. Mites are microscopic, so you can't see them. You don't know they're there unless your vet can pick them up on a skin test. But there is a medication, one called selamectin, that I'll often use, and we can use this product topically, and I use it every 2 weeks for pets with Sarcoptes mites, and it's very effective to kill those critters. So if you got a pet that's itching, particularly in this area, and they're not getting better, it's well worth doing that every 2 weeks for about 3 treatments. That's called selamectin. So that would be something I would certainly recommend to see your veterinarian about, because that can definitely make a big difference. So if we're dealing with more like an allergy in that area, we're looking at anything in the environment, anything that's pollens in the yard, in your neighbor's yard, foods that your dog eats can cause allergic responses in the dog's skin. So that's another whole kind of topic of conversation, how we can relieve a pet with that. But often I'll use some antihistamines that have a component that help with some anxiety that kind of comes along with the itch. So say a pet with really bad flea allergy, dermatitis, or really bad allergies is scratching, chewing themselves, and they're miserable. So there's actually antihistamines and medicines that are actually an antidepressant combination, and that these can be very helpful to kind of squash that itch and make the pet feel more relaxed and comfortable. Amitriptyline is one of those. The other one, which I do have some good use with, is doxepin. And these are medicines that, if you've ever heard of dogs with lick granulomas or hot spots, they kind of obsessively lick at an area. These kind of medications can help them with the itch and also kind of with that obsessive kind of, I feel like I gotta itch kind of thing. So that might be another direction that we can go for your baby. And certainly I don't want him to be rubbing it on the doghouse. We got to do something to get this kid some relief there. So I like the idea of aloe vera topical. It's a nice soothing thing, very natural. I'm not opposed to that, but I do think we need to get into the nitty-gritty and look at some of these parasites and get your baby to stop itching there. Now, I wanted to ask, is your dog neutered or is he intact?
He's got him.
He's got him.
Yeah.
Okay.
We keep him in the yard, and he's real friendly. In fact, we have a Chiweenie, and he's meaner than the pit bull.
Yeah. Well, just the reason I mention that is because an unneutered male dog often has an area of hair loss at the base of their tail, and it's called stud tail, and it's hormonally driven.
Wow.
But dogs that have this don't usually have the itchies and scratchies associated with that, but they can have the area of hair loss. So it is possible that there could be something else that's causing the itching, and that your dog has stud tail, which is just a natural thing for a dog that's not neutered. So it might be well worth going to see the vet just to have a good skin exam. And if you can put your guy up by the radio, I'll try my best to get an impression of what's going on.
Hey, Frank, thanks for your call. Good luck with that. I think I have stud tail myself.
Oh.
Someone check this.
Stud tail, right?
Yeah, it's weird. I've never heard about that. Thanks for your call. Hopefully that'll work out for you.
Fido Friendly Magazine presents the 16th annual Cross Country Pet Adoption Tour. Get your licks on Route 66. Along with media sponsor Animal Radio and companion sponsor Zymox, the tour travels down America's favorite highway from LA to Chicago, stopping at shelters along the way to support adoption events and to raise money for the shelters. With the help of cat food sponsor Cat It, companion sponsor Tito's Vodka for Dog People, campground sponsor KOA, grooming sponsor Hands On Gloves, and car wrap sponsor Signs to You. Fido Friendly Magazine brings their giant spinning wheel where attendees can donate money to spin and win Fido fabulous prizes, with all proceeds benefiting the shelter of the day. In the first 15 years, the tour has helped to place over 19,000 pets into new forever homes. Log on to FidoFriendly.com to see where the tour stops near you, and come out for a safe, fun way to support your local shelter. And who knows, you might just find your new forever friend.
Celebrating the connection with our pets. This is Animal Radio, featuring your dream team, veterinarian Dr. Debbie White and groomer Joey Villani. And here are your hosts, Hal Abrams and Judy Francis.
All the phones are lit up right now. It looks like you're working hard on those.
I am. I'm busy over here.
Today we're going to talk to Jo Good and Anna Webb. These are a couple of bodacious blondes from the UK who have a book out called How Two Bitches Taught Two Bitches to Survive Without Men. So I guess they're man haters, right?
Oh, it's hilarious. Believe me, you will die laughing when reading this book.
Okay, well, they're on the way right here. So I'm not going to read the book before they get on the air here.
I did.
Stacy, what are you working on?
Well, you know how people always see, they find Jesus like in toast, or there's a tree trunk or somewhere. Somebody found the Jesus salmon. There's a fish that they believe has been blessed by God, or is, I don't know, it's got a cross on it. I'll give you all the details coming up. It's going on tour, so it's probably coming to a city near you soon. I'll give you the details coming up on Animal Radio News.
Oh, go look for that.
Yeah. Animal Radio sponsoring the World Salmon Jesus Tour. You know what that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's hit the phones.
Okay.
Hey, Debbie, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Good. Where are you calling from today?
Arcadia, Pasadena area, California.
Beautiful L.A. What's going on?
Not a whole lot. The reason for my call was, it's been about a month now, I had to put my dog to sleep. She's a miniature schnauzer.
I'm sorry.
She was one of three. She had a seizure early in August. I took her to the vets immediately afterwards. They didn't put her on any medication because it was her only first seizure, so they said you want to monitor it and all that. And then she just progressively got worse. And one day I came home from work and I knew something had happened. She was very docile. I called her. She did walk over to me. I picked her up and she kissed me on the cheek, because normally she's miniature schnauzers, they're terriers, and she was 9 years old, but God, she had a lot of energy. And I put her down, and she just stood there. Took her back to my vet, and he said, yeah, okay, we'll put her on phenobarb.
Okay.
So she was very, very lethargic, I guess, because of the phenobarb. And then wasn't getting any better, took her back, and he had run all kinds of tests, blood work and all that, from the neck down. She's completely healthy. All her vital organs functioning properly, all the levels were where they were supposed to be. Even gave her a test on her blood work for cancers and stuff. Didn't have any of that. The only thing they can assume was she had a brain tumor. She could not see out of one eye. So something had happened that day before I got home from work.
A pet having seizures by itself isn't typically something that we would say first thing we think of as a brain tumor. But if we do have seizures accompanied with other neurologic symptoms, then something like a brain tumor definitely becomes, on our problem list. So if we're seeing problems where a pet is unstable, falling to one side, where one side of the body, the front and the rear legs aren't working well, And then some of the eye things that you're mentioning, either if the pupil size isn't the same, if they're not visual, they can't see, or there can even be some abnormal eye movements called nystagmus, which is kind of like a doll's eye movement, we call it, where the eye goes back and forth, back and forth. Some of those symptoms, along with seizures, would definitely make me think of as a brain tumor. But there also can be other things. So dogs can get strokes, which are kind of like what we call a cerebrovascular event. So that could be definitely something as well that could cause those symptoms, and especially all of a sudden kind of thing. And the unfortunate thing is to know what the cause was for your baby. We'd be looking at doing things like an MRI or a CT scan, even doing a CSF tap to kind of rule out some of those other causes. And like you said, from the neck down, everything can check out fine, but from the neck up is really where the nitty-gritty is happening. And it's hard to evaluate that with blood tests and x-rays of other parts of the body. So it would require more imaging.
And so this is my other question. I have 2 other miniature schnauzers. Do dogs grieve?
Absolutely. Absolutely. They sure do. What are they doing?
For the first several weeks, and then I thought because Harney was my baby. Not that I don't love these other 2, but, sometimes you always have that one favorite one. And she and I just bonded, and she was just, if I had a bad day, I'd come home and see her, that bad day would go away. I don't think that's so much with the boys. And because Harney was so active, she had this whole personality about herself. I thought the way they were acting, I thought they were sensing how I was feeling. Well, when I got up in the morning, let them out of their kennel, the one went over to her kennel and just stood there, and it seemed like minutes, but he just stood there for probably about 30 seconds just looking inside that kennel. It broke my heart because I'm thinking, God, is he thinking that she should be in there or whatever?
Well, dogs definitely do grieve, and a lot of things that you're describing, the loss of appetite, change in eating patterns, changes in personality where they seem more lethargic, less excited about daily interaction, all of those things are consistent with a pet that's grieving. So many dogs, it could take weeks. I've had a couple dogs that's taken a month or more for them to kind of work through these things. And the important things, I think, for you are to maintain consistent schedules with these guys and kind of repeat some of these patterns, but realizing that social structure is going to change in the home. So whereas she was the one that was kind of your comforter, they're going to have to figure out what kind of roles play. And a lot of times we do find when one pet dies, there may be a personality change with the other pets, and it's, they need to figure out who's going to be the next top dog, who's going to be the companion, who's going to be the clown. And there really is a dynamic change in the way that they'll interact with the family members, and just encouraging them, showing them lots of love and keeping them active. So get them out for walks, get them out doing things, engage them with active play. All of those kind of things can be good to just keep them occupied and keep the schedule going.
Is it just me, or does it seem like our pets are not lasting as long as they used to? I could remember growing up and we'd had dogs for 14, 15 years, and now it's like, they don't last almost but 10 years now.
Well, I think actually I knew the opposite thing in my veterinary practice, that I find that animals are living longer into some extraordinary lifespans that I didn't see before. So I don't know if that's just bad luck on your, your part, is that you're seeing some of that. But in general, I have, in I'd say the last 10 years, I've seen more dogs that are up around 15 to 18 years of age. And to me, that's extraordinary. For some breeds and schnauzers, when we're talking about living 12 years to 15 years is really good. 17, 18 is extraordinary. So it's not the norm for these little guys to live in good health in those years. And I think that's also part of it. Maybe 20, 30 years ago, dogs could live a long time, but we didn't have a lot of awareness with disease. So we might not have been really adequately treating their pain, their comfort. I'd have to say that, I feel that they're definitely living longer with better nutrition and dental care and all that.
Okay. Well, thank you for taking the time. You've satisfied my curiosity and many questions that I've had since Harley's passing, and I really do appreciate that.
My pleasure, and my sympathies on behalf of everyone at Animal Radio.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for listening.
Dr. Debbie made that lady feel good.
Did I?
Yes,
you think?
Did. Not only are you a great veterinarian, you're like a therapist. You're really good.
You know
have
what?
a great bedside manner.
A lot of what I do as a veterinarian, it's about the relationship between pets. So sometimes it's just understanding what your pet is telling you. And this is your skill, Alan. So you read the body language and all that. Sometimes I have to read.
You have everything, though. You have the total package. If most vets had what you had, whereas, you've got the medical knowledge, but you also understand, the dog behavior. What a great combination. I kind of wish you were my vet.
Oh.
What's the first concert you ever went to?
What, are you trying to access one of her accounts or something like that? Isn't that like one of those questions that you...
No, I'm just curious because my daughter went to her first concert, so I was like just thinking of that.
You know what? I'm going to tell you, you're going to laugh. It's really funny. My first conference...
Wait. Let's... Oh, okay. Go ahead.
What?
I was going to guess. I didn't think it would be... You were going to say Peter, Paul, and Mary?
Peter, Paul, and Mary was my first concert, yeah.
Wow.
Get out of here.
Yeah. It was a date. His parents had tickets and they couldn't use them, so that was what we went to.
I'll bet you like 90% of the people that are listening don't know who they are.
I know. It was a great concert. And I think I've only gone to probably 5 concerts in my life, so I'm not a real big live music fan. I'd rather turn the radio on. I can't see paying money.
Wasn't there a big hit, Puff the Magic Dragon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lived by the sea.
Honolulu,
yes. Which is
Puff the Magic Dragon, live by the sea, and frolicked something in a land called Honolulu.
Yeah, let's stick to radio. We don't sing very well.
I think this is...
Yeah, we just lost a bunch of listeners, I'm sure.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, we apologize.
If I was at a Peter, Paul, and Mary concert and a flea bit me, would I feel it?
Alan, I'm going to just shove your head in a bowl of water.
While Debbie is shoving Alan's head in a bowl of, which was the fish bowl until the fish died. I can't take care of fish, but while that's going on, I'll tell you that you can get her books, Yorkshire Terriers, Shih Tzus, Pugs, and Mini Schnauzers, How to Be Your Dog's Best Friend. If you have one of those 4 animals or you're thinking of getting one of those 4 breeds of dogs, you'll want to check out this book first. It's on Kindle. We have a link to it from animalradio.com. I consider it like an owner's manual.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Dogs or cats, horse or emu, animals are people too. She was shot, dragged by a dog, hung upside down, and then left in the household refrigerator for 2 days. But a duck, now named Perky, seems to have come back to life. A hunter's wife in Florida got an unusual greeting when she opened up her refrigerator door. A duck that her husband had shot 2 days earlier lifted up her head. She called her daughter, who took the duck to the vet. Perky the duck had suffered a broken leg and a broken wing, but was given to the Goose Creek Wildlife Sanctuary, where she'll live out her life in a sort of duck paradise. Now that's one lucky duck. I'm Britt Savage for Animal Radio. Animals are people too. Animal Radio.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now with the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
Now, I got a flashback for you. Do you remember back in 2011 we had Bonnie Best on?
That was a while ago, but actually I do remember because I'm a pet sitter, and that's what she was talking about.
Yeah, she quit her crappy day job and became a pet sitter, and she's still a pet sitter today, and she has tips for helping you become a pet sitter too. So if you're thinking of, like Judy has done, quitting her day job, being her own boss, and pet sitting, you enjoy it, don't you?
I do enjoy it, and everybody tells me, oh my gosh, that is the best job. If I could have that job, I would just be in heaven. But you know what? I have to tell you, it's not all just petting puppies and kittens.
Really?
Yes. There's a lot of dirtiness to the job. There's a lot of vomit and diarrhea and poop, and you have elderly animals that need medications that you need to spend a little more time with, but it's still very rewarding.
Yeah, so if you're thinking maybe of quitting your job to clean diarrhea, but pet the dogs at the same time, Bonnie Best wrote a book called The Real Poop Scoop on Pet Sitting. Creating Financial Freedom and Playing with Pets.
You do have the time to play with pets after you get the job done. But, this is the kind of book I wish that was out there when I started it, because I started from scratch and I learned along the way. And she has some really excellent points and some excellent tips on getting you started the right way, so it's not trial and error like I did.
What are some of the tips without giving them all away?
Well, she says one thing, if you want to be a pet sitter, the first thing you should do is shadow someone. Shadow a pet sitter. Go with them to the jobs. Really see what it entails and what it involves so you know what you're getting into. And then if you're ready, you need to start, small. You can start small with, you'll need business cards and a website. These are things you can do before you start up. And then you want to start networking and handing out your cards to build up your business. And then once you get going, there are some tips and stuff that I wish I had learned, that I learned the hard way, is whenever a client gives you a key, make sure it works. They either give you the wrong key or the door hasn't been used in a long time because they go in through the garage. You want to make sure that key works so you're not locked out.
I guess you got locked out once?
Yes, I've been locked out, and I've had to go to a neighbor, and I learned to carry WD-40 with me for those locks that are never used.
Oh, okay. That's smart.
Yes. See, these are things I learned. And, a lot of times if I'm out at a job and a new client calls me for a pet job and they have the dates, it's like, I'm not at home. I can't write them down. Having a backup, I usually tell them I'm going to hang up and call my voicemail and leave the message on my voicemail with the dates, or email me the dates. This is a good reference to go back to so I have it in writing. And then you need to create your own system. I do a one sheet for each client that I have all their information on so that I can write down the dates and have everything in front of me. And I keep them in a folder. And that way, when I go out to a pet job or I know what I have the next day, I can look in my folder and see what needs to be done. I also have some forms that I have clients sign. Vet releases are very important in case something happens, God forbid, to the animal while you're there.
Does she talk about this?
She does.
Okay.
She talks about the forms that you will need. And all I can say is, it takes time. It takes time to build. But given over time, it is a very rewarding and very enjoyable job. I've been doing it for years.
Okay, the book is called The Real Poop Scoop on Pet Sitting, Creating Financial Freedom, Playing with Pets. Its author is Bonnie Best. And it says on the back here, according to Entrepreneur Magazine, pet sitting is one of the top 10 business opportunities today. It's worth a read, at least, to find out if you're built for it.
And if you live in the right area. If you live in a rural area, you're out in the country, you're not going to get very many jobs. But you live in the city, you'll be busy.
Okay. Can we give away some of these?
We should, definitely, for all the potential pet sitters out there.
Okay, I have 10 copies to give away. The only way you can get them is calling from the Animal Radio app for iPhone or Android. So if you haven't downloaded that, download it now. It's a free download, and call us from the Animal Radio app. I'll look for it in your app store. And for the first 10 people that we hear from, you'll pick up the Real Poop Scoop on Pet City.
How would you like to get a free smartphone? If you own a smartphone, listen to this incredible offer that's almost too good to be true. Right now, you can switch your plan and get service with us for as little as $2 a day. Guaranteed for life. Plus, get a free smartphone every year. Call the free smartphone hotline now and we'll move your number from your existing service. Think of your savings. So don't wait. Switch your plan, save money, plus get a free smartphone every year. Call the free smartphone hotline right now. We guarantee you're going to love our service. If you don't like what we say, you can hang up on us. But you won't. Right now, you can switch your plan and get service with us for as little as $2 a day. Guaranteed for life. Call the free smartphone hotline right now. 800-475-3351. 800-475-3351. 800-475-3351. That's 800-475-3351.
This is
Animal Radio.
Remember Mighty Mite?
That was Mighty Mouse.
Oh, it was Mighty Mouse.
Yeah, that was Mighty Mouse, you lunatic.
There was no Mighty Mite.
Mighty Mite.
I just don't know my cartoon characters.
Remember his song?
No.
Here I come to save the day.
I remember that. I don't remember the name.
That's Mighty
That
Mouse.
was Mighty Mouse. Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to him? I heard that Mickey Mouse had a hit on him.
He got caught in the trap.
Just seemed like he was going places, and then all of a sudden you never hear about him again.
Mickey Mouse rubbed him out.
Yeah, I think it was a fast action trap that took him.
Yeah.
Let's see. Hey, Sherry.
Hello there.
How you doing?
A little worried about my little dog.
What's up?
Well, I've got a little Yorkshire Terrier. We've had her since she was a pup, and she was very playful, very runaround, wasn't frightened of pretty much anything. I got her fixed after she was about 6 months old, and it seemed to change. I wouldn't say because of getting her fixed as far as the hormones were concerned, but it seemed to change the moment I picked her up. She's now frightened. She shivers all the time, and she is now 3.5. So this has been going on for quite a few years, and it's just gotten to the point now where it's worse. She's frightened of every single noise. She now hides under the bed. She's just scared of everything, and she's just not having the quality of life I want her to have anymore.
Good for you, Sherry, that you care so much, sweetie. And, I'm so glad you called. First of all, when your dog gets afraid, you probably feel really sorry for her, don't you?
Oh, immediately.
Immediately. So the first thing you have to do, Sherry, is you have to work on yourself. And it all starts with you. That's my new expression. It all starts with you. And what I mean by that is when dogs sense that you're afraid, it makes them more afraid because they think they have something to actually be afraid of. So you're going to have to gather up your strength and confidence. You're going to have to help your dog face his fear. You do it with consistency, but also gradually. So if your dog, let's say, is afraid of any noise, what you want to do is figure out what noises your dog isn't afraid of, okay? And spend time around those noises. And you want to distract your dog whenever your dog starts to go to that fearful place. So let's say you're walking past a heat pump in the street. Your dog's fine. All of a sudden, the heat pump jumps on, and you see your dog is getting afraid. You want to give her a little tap, just a little tap on the side of the head, like a little, hey, and snap her out of it, and then keep walking through the fear. And when it happens in the house, you want to give her a treat. As soon as you distract her and the fear is gone, you give her a treat and go, good dog. She'll start to learn to associate each sound with a good thing instead of a bad thing, and she'll also feed off of your confidence. I helped a guy a couple weeks ago with thunderstorms. His dog's terrified of thunderstorms. So what we did was we were lucky because we had a thunderstorm. We just walked outside, and we stood there next to the dog, all calm. I prepared him mentally. You just got to be calm. You're going to relax your shoulders, relax your arm, and you're just going to stand out there with your dog and enjoy the thunderstorm, and then actually take a walk in the thunderstorm because dogs love to walk. So the dog starts to associate the noise of the thunderstorm with, hey, this is really a good thing. We're taking a walk. And as soon as he started to relax and he understood, the owner, that his fear was actually going into his dog, transcending and going down the leash into his dog, and he started to calm down, his dog started to calm down. So one at a time, you're gonna have your dog face her fear, and you're gonna create a safe spot in the house. So you notice where your dog runs when there is noise under the bed. Put her crate by the bed so she can run in that. And as soon as you start to see that she's not afraid, it's going to take time, Sherry. It doesn't happen overnight. You've got to be calm. You've got to help your dog face her fear and move her through it. So an example would be if your dog is afraid of an air conditioner that's in your neighborhood, you're actually going to walk past that thing every day, and you're going to start to walk closer to it over time as she starts to lose the fear until you're right next to it. And she's just sitting there, and you're going to give her a treat. So in that way, over time, she's going to lose her fear, but you got to stop feeling sorry for her. You can't pick her up when she's afraid. Don't pick.
Stop holding her in the car and make her stay in her crate.
Absolutely. Holding her every time a human. This is so good that you brought that up, because when a human being picks a dog up or holds a dog when they're afraid, what does it do? It reinforces the fear. It tells the dog, yeah, you should be afraid, and yeah, I'm going to comfort you. I'm afraid too. You've got to change your energy. You've got to be calm, confident, assertive, and unafraid, and just ignore her fear. And as soon as she calms down, that's when you reward her. So let's say you're driving in the car, she's whimpering, you're paying no attention. Maybe the third, fourth time, she's in that crate, and she's like being calm and quiet. You go, good girl, and you give her a treat. Good dog. Show her there's nothing to be afraid of, Cher.
Okay, I'll do that. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for your call,
You're
Sherry.
so welcome.
I love listeners like that, Alan. I don't know about you, but they ask good.
She's a smart, sweet lady. Well, you know what? All of our listeners are fantastic, and they all want to help. The biggest problem is it all starts with you and people understanding that dogs don't have human emotions. And when we try to give human emotions to dogs, we get into all kinds of trouble.
People should have to take a test to be a pet owner. You know what I'm saying?
There's so many books on dog behavior that before anybody listening, before you go out and get a dog, before you go out and get a puppy, put a lot of thought into it. It's not like buying a steak or a cup of coffee or a sweater. You're bringing home a living thing. So you want to learn, okay, what kind of energy do I want from my dog? Do I want a playful, crazy dog, manic dog? Do I want a calm dog? Do I want a big dog or a small dog? Do I want a worker dog or a dog who's, bred just to lay around a lot? So you got to put a lot of thought into that. Do I want a dog that loves people, or do I want a dog who's aloof like a chow? And so dog behavior, there's so much information on the internet that will teach you how dogs look at the world. And when you learn that, when you start to see that and ingest that stuff and stop humanizing your dog, you're going to be a great dog owner. It doesn't mean you can't give a dog affection. It just means dogs see affection differently than people do. Affection for a dog, you know what affection for a dog is? You're taking your dog for a walk on the leash, he's behaving, he's being good, and then you let him off the leash. That's affection.
I've noticed about dog behavior books is there's a lot of contradictions.
That's true.
Depending on who wrote them, and they can be confusing. Now, honestly, I mean, your methodology is I agree with 100% because to me it's common sense.
I'll tell you, if you want to learn dog behavior, just find a mother with its puppies and watch. That's where all my stuff comes from.
Yep. That's great stuff.
Do you have an old car sitting around your house? Maybe you're even paying insurance on it. Well, if you don't need that car anymore, donate it, running or not, to the United Breast Cancer Foundation. They will even come and pick it up for free and give you a receipt for a tax donation. Breast cancer screening could save the life of someone you love. And right now, they need your help. They want to save more lives through early detection by offering women free or low-cost breast screening exams. And that's what your old car helps to pay for. So get your phone out and call right now to donate your car to the United Breast Cancer Foundation. Remember, they will come pick it up for free and give you a tax donation receipt. Call right now.
800-793-4880. 800-793-4880. 800-793-4880. That's 800-793-4880.
This is an Animal Radio News Update.
I'm Stacey Cohen for Animal Radio. Well, you know how pets relieve stress. They have therapy dogs that go into hospitals. There's a new cafe in Paris. They're offering people a dose of stress relief with their coffee and croissants. It's called the Cat Cafe. They've got a dozen resident cats that provide what could be called purr therapy. The manager there says a cat's purring has been shown to help relieve arthritis, rheumatism, and lower blood pressure as well as heart rate. The cafe is meant to appeal to Paris residents who can't have pets in their small apartments. It seems the whole concept is a hit because so many people showed up for their recent opening. About 300 people had to be turned away. Well, don't expect to see Patrick the gorilla on a psychologist's couch, but the Dallas Zoo is getting him therapy. This gorilla is a sexist gorilla. He's being shipped off to Riverbank Zoo and Gardens in South Carolina. They specialize in working with gorillas who have behavioral problems. Patrick does not get along with female gorillas. He's sexist. He bites them or tries to fight every single one of them that he's met. Maybe he just hasn't met the right gorilla yet. Well, despite his 3 decades in the salmon industry, one Swedish man says he's never seen anything quite like what he's calling the Jesus salmon. Lars Ludvigsson told The Local that he was filleting tons of fish that come across the assembly line at the factory in Gothenburg when a coworker started shouting about something that he'd found. Turns out the discovery was a fish with black scales on its white stomach that formed a perfect cross. Lars says that he's dubbed it the Jesus salmon for fun, and then the name stuck. Well, some of his fellow assembly line workers were convinced that the fish was a sign from God. But Lars didn't hold that quite same regard. He said he kept the Jesus salmon to himself, and he was going to enjoy a blessed dinner until he realized that this fish had become a celebrity and didn't think it was right to, to eat it. So he's taking that fish on tour. I'm Stacey Cohen. Get more animal breaking news at animalradio.com.
This has been an Animal Radio News Update. Get more at animalradio.com.
This is
Animal Radio, baby.
So this is weird. I got a solicitation from Petco in the mail. Congratulations on bringing home a pet ferret from Petco.
Oh, I didn't know you got a ferret.
I didn't. They just sent this out. And you know what's even weirder is in California, of course, ferrets are illegal. So they're sort of, sending something. It says it right on the outside of the envelope, too. Like, if I did bring home a ferret, they would have just ratted to the world. I could have been arrested just simply from this flyer.
Yeah, and
maybe they were setting you up.
That could be.
They wanted to make sure you didn't have a ferret, that you didn't go back and say, okay, thank you very much, and all of a sudden the police be knocking on your door. That's...
Try to prove that you don't have a ferret, like the guy who was, the government says he's dead and he's not dead.
That's not a ferret in my pocket.
Okay.
Yeah.
What? I think you're holding out on us, Hal. You've got a ferret somewhere in the studio.
I do have a ferret somewhere in my studio.
Why are ferrets illegal? Why are they?
You know what? It's
reasoning?
an old rule that they used to bring in diseases. We're talking about 100 years ago, and it's just something that was never updated, and they've just kept it on the books. People have been trying for years to get the ban lifted.
Why in such a liberal state like California?
I know.
I mean, we have gay marriage, we have all kinds of stuff.
I think there might be New York. I don't know. There's very few states that ban ferrets.
Every once in a while, we'll hear from a trucker who has a ferret as a pet.
And they have a hard time when they cross
the state lines.
Yeah, they have to
keep. Oh, really?
They have to keep
so
it
you can't...
hush. Yes, you can't transport a ferret into California. So.
Really?
Yeah.
Crazy stuff. Hey, you know what? This book just came across my desk. It's I just started it. Actually, Judy has been reading it for the last week.
I read it.
It's
It
called
is hilarious.
Barking Blondes, How Two Bitches Taught Two Bitches to Survive Without Men. Where are we calling? The UK? Is that correct? We have Jo Good and Anna Webb. Hey, ladies, how you doing?
Hello. Can I just say, we do allow ferrets in London.
You do?
We do. In fact, I think they're the fourth most popular pet at the moment. Yes, Molly, in the UK.
Okay, so which one, who's who?
That's Anna.
That's Anna? Hey,
Anna has Molly.
Anna has Molly, and Molly is like Spuds McKenzie. What was Spuds McKenzie, the dog?
He was a bull terrier, and he advertised the Budweiser advert, I believe, in America in the late 70s. I'm sorry, Molly wants to join in the interview.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to hold up a picture of you and Molly, and I think people will agree that when you live with your pet for a while, you start to look like them, and they start to look like you.
I have a very long nose.
You do have a long nose. You two look. Also joining us is Jo Good, who's no stranger to radio. You work in the UK on radio. Is that correct?
That's absolutely right. Both Anna and myself, we work for the BBC. I do a radio show every single day of the week for the BBC. But for one of those days, we have, and we're so envious of you for what you do, because just for one day a week, we are allowed to do a dog show, which used to be called Barking at the Moon when we were on late at night. Now we've been moved to a primetime daytime slot, and it's called the Barking Hour. And like yourselves, we talk about animals. We talk mainly about dogs, and we have dogs on the show. We have very famous dog owners on the show, and we used to have them with their dogs. We used to have our dogs in the studio with us, and then suddenly, because we were moved to primetime radio, the BBC banned our dogs. And we were mortified.
They won't let them in the studio?
Oh, yes. I mean, it has taken a lot of the fun out of doing it, because Molly, as you can hear, is trained to speak on command, and she used to open the show, didn't she, Jo, every night with her famous little barking.
No, wait. I'm really ticked off. The BBC won't let the dogs in the studio, and why is that?
Well, see, the thing was, when we were on late at night, there was no one in the studio, because it was late night radio. There was just us and our producer. All the BBC security guys downstairs, but they turned a blind eye to it. So we'd bring all our dogs in. We had very famous rock stars bring their dogs in. Then when we come on prime time, there was an email went round and said somebody is allergic to dog hair, and there was dog hair in Studio 24C, which was our studio. And that meant a total ban, unfortunately. So you two must know you can't argue with people who've got allergies.
Or radio people, really. Radio management, you can't argue with them.
Or radio management, you're absolutely right. Yes. But whilst Anna's dog, Molly, will bark to command, and she's got a miniature bull terrier, I've got a British bulldog. And the funniest thing is, my bulldog's concentration span is like that of a gnat. So she would snore all the way through the show. And the listeners just waited to hear Matilda snore.
Now, how did you two meet?
We met. I was filming a BBC documentary on fur kids. Are you familiar with the term fur kid?
Oh, yes.
So, myself, a woman of indeterminate age and an ex-actress, I'd never wanted children. In fact, I'd never had a maternal instinct, and until I got my bulldog, and then I became very maternal and very motherly, to be quite honest. And the BBC asked me to film a documentary interviewing other owners of fur kids, and Anna was my very first interviewee, and I travelled to her flat in North London, this gorgeous flat, and every single thing in this flat is bull terrier. The door knocker, the plates, the cushions. Every photograph is of Molly painted, Molly in plaster, Molly lamps, everything. Well, I arrived with the camera crew, and they weren't particularly dog friendly, and they said, "Can we just get this interview in the can and then move on?" And I saw Anna in the hall of her gorgeous Islington flat. She had Molly sitting so obediently by her feet, and she was feeding Molly meatballs from her bra.
Her bra?
Beauty. Hey, can she do that for me?
There is a logic behind that, she says, quickly trying to defend herself before all your listeners must think I'm completely barking, which is this. I grew up on meatballs, you see, being half Swedish. And they're not only, as you'll appreciate, a very good, tasty, meaty snack for a dog, but the bra, we're very lucky as women to be able to wear one, really, because it's such a super receptacle in what I think exactly the right position for when you're competing with your dog in the show ring. And Moles and I, over the years, have done everything from obedience to showing at crafts. And what could be better for that than hiding a Swedish meatball in your bra?
I tell you, that's where my husband looks.
That's exactly. You see, that's the main eye line, isn't it?
Exactly.
That's a great place, Joey. You should think about hiding some meatballs in your bra. I'm just saying.
You know what? I do.
That's genius right there.
I'll tell you, though, depending on your cup size, that could be a full meal.
It really could
be. Yeah, exactly.
It is very strange, though. I mean, I'm so used to Anna doing this now, but we're on a weekly television show over here. And the thing about these meatballs is they have such high fat content, and there will be suddenly this sort of greasy splodge on one of Anna's amazing designer T-shirts. And only I know what's happening there.
Yes, there's nothing else happening.
Well, it could be that or raw green tripe. I understand, Anna, you're a big fan of.
Oh, I'm passionate about raw green tripe. I mean, as many of your listeners...
Oh, my God, you're going to have to butt in, because if you don't stop her, she'll go on for hours.
Well, it's just a great food, it's terribly underestimated. It is, the elixir for dogs. It has all the right nutrients in the right proportions for a dog, and particularly for Molly, because she is a miniature bull terrier, they are prone to kidney disease, as are many pedigrees, but particularly the mini bulls. So tripe is low in phosphorus and it's low in fat, but very high in all the right omegas.
But it does smell, Anna. You must admit it does
smell. But it's kind of a smell that you get used to.
Well, you get used to it. Visitors don't get used to it. I mean, it literally does stink, this stuff.
Hang on,
I have to tell you now.
Are you saying my flat smells?
No, but Anna will eat what she feeds Molly.
No, apart from raw green tripe.
Can we take a break? What we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break. And,
you're going to go and lie down in a dark room.
Yes, and we'll be back with Jo Good and Anna Webb right here on Animal Radio. Stick around.
How would you like to get a free smartphone? If you own a smartphone, listen to this incredible offer that's almost too good to be true. Right now, you can switch your plan and get service with us for as little as $2 a day. Guaranteed for life. Plus, get a free smartphone every year. Call the free smartphone hotline now and we'll move your number from your existing service. Think of your savings. So don't wait. Switch your plan, save money, plus get a free smartphone every year. Call the free smartphone hotline right now. We guarantee you're going to love our service. If you don't like what we say, you can hang up on us. But you won't. Right now, you can switch your plan and get service with us for as little as $2 a day. Guaranteed for life. Call the free smartphone hotline right now. 800-475-3351. 800-475-3351. 800-475-3351. That's 800-475-3351.
It's Animal Radio, and we are back with the British Barking Blondes. Jo Good and Anna Webb talking about trying ourselves what we feed our dogs.
I will, as Joe says, eat dog biscuits, and I always screen them. You know, we always buy dog biscuits, don't we, Joe, that are, you know, organic with human-grade ingredients, and some of the ingredients is really lovely, like fine mature cheddar cheese, for example, or some peanut butter. And I always think dog biscuits are almost better for you. Well, they are better for you than human biscuits.
But now let's just tell everybody what you do feed Molly, because Anna will pay a fortune to feed Molly with royal jelly, and this is the jelly. This isn't the capsule stuff. This is the jelly thrown into Anna's house that Anna can't even afford for herself, and she will feed it to Molly.
Well, she does have royal jelly. She has half a teaspoon, actually, before we go to sleep. The latest addition to Molly's supplements is actually from having read an American article in Dogs Naturally magazine by an American homeopath that recommended actually introducing raw colostrum into the diet to actually boost the efficiency of homeopathy, where homeopathy might not be working as well as you would like it to do. So this article absolutely fascinated me, and I spent some time on a Saturday evenings, my life is like this, looking for raw unprocessed colostrum.
Because we don't have boyfriends. This is what we do. We've lost our boyfriends.
Isn't colostrum that stuff that they put on those Lay's potato chips for a while that everyone had always was running to the bathroom? You remember that?
Yeah, I don't know if that is colostrum.
Oh, God, if you say that, Anna's going to go crazy.
No,
she'll be Googling tonight. She'll never sleep.
These ladies do a radio show about dogs in the UK. Jo Good and Anna Webb are joining us. They have a great book called Barking Blondes, How Two Bitches Taught Two Bitches to Survive Without Men. And we're just about to find out the story about...
Yeah, I have a question about the men. I think it was Anna. You had a boyfriend, and I don't remember what you called him.
Well, in the book, he was known, actually, quite appropriately as Why Bother? As
that was what you called him?
About a 4-year relationship, that's basically what I ended deciding, you know, quite frankly, why bother?
So that was his nickname.
You know, that's his name in the book. For legal reasons, he had to be known as Why Bother.
Anna said to me that, Anna, I hope I'm not putting words in your mouth, that we had to give him the proofs of the book to read, and he turned to her and went, he said, "Why bother? You've called me why bother?"
I know. It was a very awkward moment.
I'm sure these guys have been called worse things.
Absolutely. But I mean, the thing about Why Bother is he just didn't get it, did he, Anna? Because it was either him or the dog, really.
Yeah, exactly. That is, in a nutshell, what happened. We grew apart as I threw myself more and more back into the world of dogs with Molly as a tiny pup. And I was having so much fun doing dog training, dog shows, you name it, making new friends, that basically I just didn't want to go out and socialize anymore with him. And so in the end, it was really why bother when I can have much more fun with my dog.
I think we've all found that out, that we can have more fun with our animals. And you know what? I used to be criticized many, many years ago because I wouldn't get sad when my Uncle Louie passed away, but when my pet passed away, I was thrown into a frenzy for weeks on end. So I didn't mean to bring you down there, but I mean, we love these animals.
It's absolutely true. Listen, Anna's already booked a grave for Molly in Paris, because in Paris is this designated graveyard, which again is in our book, and we went to visit it. It's where Rin Tin Tin is buried.
Yes.
And
wow.
Anna was, I mean, I was moved, but Anna was literally sobbing on the grave of Rin Tin Tin.
I've always admired Rin Tin Tin, and Susan
But
Hawley.
you've never met Rin Tin Tin, Anna. I mean, it was...
No, I know, because he died. He actually did die before I was born.
I know. But the fact you were so upset. And I mean, okay, I thought he was
what he symbolised, you know, he symbolised so much. He was really the first dog, and there was another German Shepherd called Strongheart at the same time. They were kind of competitors, but Rin Tin Tin broke boundaries. He earned more money than Greta Garbo, you know, a week. Wow. He earned more money. He saved Warner Brothers from bankruptcy by his amazing prowess on the silver screen. This dog had done more, you know, than most, you know, actors or film companies ever do now. And that's just the amazing thing, and the power of the dog to symbolize everything really that America stood for in the 1920s, you know, loyalty, hard work, success, triumph over adversity. And his story was such a rags to riches story as he came from the trenches in France with Lee Duncan, the soldier, who turned him into this film star. During the Depression, they worked together, teamwork, you know, and that's also just epitomizes one man and his dog. And I love that, you know.
I love the fact that the Parisians have a graveyard for dogs. We don't in London, you know. They have real integrity, and this graveyard is so gothic and so bleak, and yet actually really uplifting, isn't it, Anna?
Really uplifting. It's called the Cimetière des Chiens, and honestly, apart from Rin Tin Tin, there are various film-style dogs there. There's even actually a monkey buried there, and several race horses, because it is for all animals. But it's the huge feeling of love that overwhelms you when you're there.
So whilst everyone else in Paris was eating and shopping, we were sobbing over the grave of Rin Tin Tin.
And so Molly has been allowed to reserve a little plot, not a very big one, I hasten to add. But as I lived in Paris for a year many years ago, I do feel a connection with the city, and they are so dog-friendly also in France compared to us here in England. But listen, let's not talk about sad things.
Well, you know what, we're so out of time, but I've had so much fun. We're going to have to do this again. I want to give away 9 copies of your books right now. Barking Blondes, How Two Bitches Taught Two Bitches to Survive Without Men. Jo Good and Anna Webb, the authors, and joining us. And hopefully we can do this again very soon.
Can we sign off the way we sign off the BBC? 1, 2, 3, Anna. Woof, woof, woof.
I love it. Have a great week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good weekend.
This is Animal Radio Network.